Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Judge Janine Pirro, Jessica Tarlob, Dana Perino, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. Donald Trump out campaigning like a madman while Kamala cowers from the media. The former president was on his A game during a packed rally in deep blue New York. Watch.
We're going to win New York. And if you vote for me, I'm going to reduce your taxes, reduce your crime, and reduce your levels of stress. The only thing that I will increase are your incomes, and your love for your state will come roaring back again. To the people of New York, with crime at record levels, with terrorists and criminals pouring in, and with inflation eating your hearts out, vote for Donald Trump. What the hell do you have to lose?
President Trump's all about the fine details on how he plans to improve your life, while Kamala's focused on boring you to death about her life and her middle-class origin story. Meanwhile, it turns out she's more elusive than Bigfoot. By our own count, the Harris-Walz ticket has only done 13 formal interviews since becoming the nominee, while Trump and Vance have done 54 formal sit-downs. The media is trying to warn Kamala that being vague might hurt her campaign.
At this point in a campaign, we normally have an idea of what's the big thing they're going to do. Yeah. Right? I wonder if that's, if that's going to hurt her at some point. If voters are going, yeah, I don't like what he's doing, but what are you going to do? And it's been a lot of vagueness. When you listen to Kamala Harris on what she will do, you can almost start a drinking game every time she says small businesses.
You said something yesterday, Dana, that I've been thinking about.
Oh, gosh.
And it's not the other thing that you said was really disgusting. Not that. Something you said on air. That when Trump and Vance are out there, they're playing. They're in the game. They're doing well, and then they're making mistakes. They're doing really well, and then they're making mistakes. Kamala's just not even playing.
Right.
What effect is that going to have?
That was my prevent-defense analogy,
yes.
I believe. So one campaign is running not to lose, and the other campaign is running to win. And this has very strong, to me, 2016 vibes, because 2020, I think we're going to all look back and say, what a strange election. The pandemic, the hiding in the basement. Now, hiding in the basement in 2020 worked. I don't feel like it's working right now. One of the things from our poll last night was that you had a total of 84% of people saying they want change, and 34% of those want drastic change. And what's he doing? He's out there saying, I'll give you change. And we're going to have a lot more to talk about Greg's show. He's like, I'll go on this show. I'll do this podcast. I want to win, and I will talk to anybody. And one of the things he says last night is something he said in 2016, which is, what do you have to lose? Now, I could imagine that the Harris campaign was like, oh, good. Now we have yet another thing that he said. You have your reproductive rights to lose, right? And you can see the ads would probably already be cut. But I think that one of the things you start to hear from some of the Democratic pundits who are saying it anonymously, but now starting to say it more on background and even on the record, like, I don't know if this is such a smart strategy, because she's starting to lose a little bit of altitude and airspeed as she's going on. And you know what happens when that occurs. The last thing I want to mention before all these smart people talk is the interview tally for Harris-Walz is really incredible, because the coverage about the strategy is for the media to go, interesting strategy. Imagine if that were Trump, and the claws out, like, how dare you not do interviews? But because it's her, they're like, maybe she can get away with it.
Right. They're not looking at it as journalists. They're looking at it as political people. Greg, when is Kamala coming on exclamation point?
We've already ordered the wine. By the way, I just realized you are the human highlighter.
Yeah.
You are. You're dressing up, but you highlight what's in the news, and you're dressed. It's incredible. By the way, he will talk to anybody, including me. Thanks, Dana.
Yeah. You bet.
So I have a weird comparison. So you look at Trump, and he's talking about what we call the fine details. He talks about what are you going to do about crime, taxes, and incomes. He's addressing real problems with specific solutions, because he lives, like almost all of us, in the real world. The world of action and consequences, incentives and disincentives. So it's kind of easy to figure out the solutions here. All you have to do is roll back the destruction that had divorced action from consequence. He's just reconnecting, cause and effect that was divorced. Like, no one would ever have done no cash bail if you actually thought of the consequences. You would have had a strong border if you thought of the consequences. So he's just reconnecting it. And I was listening to Harris, and I was like going, you know what she is? She is the first AI candidate. You know how current AI is? It's like it's repurposing existing content, all the crap that's there. It shifts it around, uses conventional phrases and platitudes, and it creates new content. But you never really get a specific answer. Instead, you get like, it's important that we have this conversation as well as the values and the diversity of a person's experience. It's why all those DEI scholars caught plagiarizing sounded the same. They mimic the same jargon jello. And she's lived in that jello for so long. She's like a little marshmallow inside the jello salad. And it's like a human algorithm that creates this salad. And the intent is not to answer, but to evade answering. So when you sit there and you go like, why is she being so vague? They're like, that's exactly what we want.
Have you ever made jello salad, Judge Jeanine Pirro?
No.
No?
Should I have?
No,
what does
delicious.
It mean? What does it mean? I never have.
They call
okay.
it sex on a beach.
Yeah.
In Wyoming, they do.
You're
Maybe
filthy.
you can give me that later, Dana. Anyway, all right.
Pleasure.
You know, I loved seeing Donald Trump in New York yesterday. Obviously, I loved seeing him here on your show, Greg. I thought it was great. I was so happy for all of us. Happy for you. It was just, but what Americans saw was something I think that you and I had argued about. Like what the real Trump is like. He's a regular guy with a sense of humor who can talk to anybody and who can respond to every question. And what we've seen with Kamala Harris is a woman that before the debate, 28% of the people had no idea what she stands for, and post-debate, 25% don't know what she stands for. So she has to rely, she got 3% in there. I don't know what they figured out, but she has to rely on, you know, the left-wing media, ABC, and, you know, even CNN is criticizing ABC, and even ABC is criticizing ABC, and her friendly Oprah Winfrey to get out her message. But the truth is Donald Trump is going to energize blue cities because he is a New Yorker. He is born and bred in New York. He loves this city. He helped build the skyline of this city. And in America, he moved on from there. He went to Palm Beach, Los Angeles, and then he went to Ireland and Scotland and Oman and Dubai and all these other places. What has this woman done? What has she built? Other than a few platitudes. And she keeps saying, you know, we need change. I'll tell you, change is exactly why you're not winning. Because you changed Donald Trump's closing the border, securing the border, relying on American energy, and getting rid of law and order. Those are all the things that Donald Trump was supporting. And so when he gets out there, he can gather a crowd, he can rally a crowd, and he can keep that crowd. And we're going to see him going after blue states continuously. She can talk in platitudes, and she's not going to win that. And did their policies help rather than hurt? Trump, 17% of people say his policies help. Biden, negative 24%. So you keep talking platitudes because you got nothing to say.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.